start the recording here. So the session is going to be recorded. Thank you for joining us this last Friday of July. I can't believe that it's already July, but it feels like this year has been 10 years long. So thank you for joining us on another one of our monthly webinar training events. We're really excited to have a couple of guests with us today. This is actually, I think, our biggest webinar in terms of presenters. So we have a little group of experts here that are going to give you lots of wonderful information and resources as it relates to business intelligence for SAP. So first and foremost, my name's Elizabeth. You may have seen me on other webinars. I'm really happy to be here today. I'm an SAP consultant with Pioneer. We also have Deb Bowen, who is our support manager. So a lot of our customers may recognize her. And if you haven't met her, now you can put a face to the name. Deb is our support manager. She's a wonderful technical resource. She does jack of all trades. So we're really excited to have her here today with us to demo the Power BI functionality. We also have Modi Motion from SAP. He is a business development and senior specialist with SAP and quite a little expert in the Analytics Cloud. So really excited to show you guys that functionality. And then last but certainly not least, we have Corey Mendelson, who is the president of New Intelligence. And he is joining us today to showcase their quick start platform. We do have a couple customers that are already using it, so excited to show you guys that as well, and maybe get you on there as well. So let's see, there we go. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. And just again, this session is recorded. Afterwards, we will be publishing it with our blog on the website, and so you'll have access to this recording and the blog write-up as well, and all of the resources, documentation, everything that comes along with that. And in this case, there's going to be quite a bit. So our objective today is really to provide you, the SAP Business One users, with options to manage your business intelligence. We're showing you a few different platforms and options today. So hopefully to spark that curiosity and give you a little bit more incentive to go out there and really, utilize your data to the best of your abilities. And give you some options to gain additional insight into the analytic capabilities within SAP Business One as well. And I already kind of skipped into this, but for the introductions, as we go through our sections, I'll let them introduce themselves as well. But this is our panel today. And then kind of already mentioned a little bit, but our agenda today, first of all, we're just going to go over kind of a brief introduction of business intelligence and what that means. Then we're going to jump into our HANA integrated analytics and the options that you have for BI within SAP if you're using the HANA platform. From there, we're going to pass it over to Moti for the Analytics Cloud demo, and then pass it over to Corey for our BI Spotlight with New Intelligence. And then Deb is going to bring us home with the Power BI, and she actually has a little bit of a surprise for our Microsoft users for some functionality that was really exciting. So I can't wait for that. And then just to bring it home, we are going to also showcase just a few, well, not showcase, but just mention a couple other BI tools. So these were some of our top picks of what we wanted to show you guys today, but there are other BI tools out there in the field. So just to give you a look at, what some of those other tools might be. And then, of course, as always, we are going to provide you with documentation and do Q&A at the end. Although we will be watching the chat box, so if you have any questions as we go through this, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat. We'll keep an eye on that, and we can ask as we go through as well. So wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing camera just so you guys can see. We're going to jump into the live demo in just a sec, so I'll give you a little bit more real estate there on your screen. And let's see, can you guys still see my screen okay?
And no, not yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, I turned off my camera and not my screen. There we go.
Yep, much better.
Perfect. Thanks so much. All right, so first I want to jump into really just a quick overview of what BI is. So first of all, BI is really a process, a technology-driven process to allow you to analyze your data and give you actionable insights to kind of make those informed business decisions. So what does that, what does that really mean? Why does it matter? I know a lot of you are, if not most of you, might have been with your companies when you were young, when you were just using QuickBooks and Excel and a number of other platforms, and you had lots of segmented data. So we've grown up from there. We're all now using an ERP system, and SAP Business One has, as your ERP system, has brought all of your data into one centralized location. So now that we have that, all of our data is in that centralized location. We want to be able to make decisions based on that data, based on that real-time data. And, that may be the piece that we're missing to really move up and onto the next level of analysis and decision making. So how do we make better business decisions? We use business intelligence. So it allows us, like I said, to create those actionable insights, and it gives us the ability to create these predictive insights, which you can use to kind of tell you what's going to happen in the future. So we take this analysis of maybe, historical and now, and give you an insight as to what will happen in the future, hopefully, all COVID aside. And then BI can also give you the tools to kind of make prescriptive insights. So what you should be doing to create better outcomes for your business. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump into the first BI tool that we're going to show you today, which is our HANA platform. So just one moment, I'll go ahead and switch over to our live demo area. All right, and you can see my HANA screen, everybody, I think. Okay, perfect. So I do want to make a disclaimer right at the beginning. This is the HANA platform. For those of you using the HANA database, this will be relevant for you. For those using the SQL database, this won't be as relevant, although we do have other options for SQL users to, handle BI within the system. But just what we're spotlighting here is what's, kind of the additional differentiator in the HANA platform. And that differentiator is really the integrated or embedded analytics of this platform. So you can see right off the bat that we have our cockpit on our main screen. So this is all customized, all updated in real time, and gives you insight into the KPIs and dashboards that matter most to you. You'll see this is just kind of a sample smattering of a few different KPIs, but we can go into our templates and see that we have lots of other different KPIs that may be customized for certain roles in our business. So a management cockpit, for instance, could look something like this, where we're giving our management team or our C-level executives insight into kind of more high-level information that matters to them. So what's our gross profit, assets and liabilities, our total sales amount, these kind of high-level targets that they may be really interested in seeing on a day-to-day basis. All of these as well have insights as you scroll over them. And as you maybe click, this is a sales orders not delivered, for instance. So as you click on it, you can pull up these on-demand reports that give you more insight into the information in your KPI. And then, as we all know from using SAP Business One, or hopefully we know, these golden arrow drill downs allow us to actually drill into the information. So it's giving you that insight right off the bat, now giving you a small report, and you can take action on that. Hey, this sales order hasn't been delivered. Let's jump in there, see what's going on. And it seems like it's unapproved. Okay, we need to approve it and send it off for delivery. So really easy, not a lot of work, and you have this this KPI right off the bat. So again, those were just there being able to select between different templates for your base cockpit in SAP. You can also, like I showed over here, create different dashboards and then really easily update your dashboard as well. So maybe, we want to move these around. We can move our little widgets around here. And actually, this sales employee performance doesn't matter much to me. And I can go ahead and delete that and save myself some more room here. And from there, now we can go and add, maybe we want to add more KPIs to our main dashboard. So the few different components here of the HANA platform, the few different BI components are this out-of-the-box dashboards, KPIs library that you can select from. There's also the ability to create custom dashboards and KPIs. And then last but not least, we have this wonderful Excel reporting tool. So first, I'm just going to show you here these out-of-the-box dashboards. I don't know exactly the number, but SAP comes with, a whole handful of KPIs that are available out of the box. So you really don't have to do any work, and you can just go ahead and add the widgets to your dashboard just like that. Then we go back, and you can see that our widgets have now been added. And we can go ahead and maybe update my cockpit. And now, just as easy as that, we've added our, few KPIs there and updated our cockpit. In the same way, we can create new dashboards and KPIs. So if we go here into our pervasive analytics, this is where we can, it just takes a second to load up here. And then this is where we have kind of another library, all of these KPIs here, all of these dashboards and advanced dashboards that we can play around with and create new KPIs. So first one here, just to create this KPI, all we have to do is with any of our queries that we have in the system, we can use that to create a KPI. So let's see. And I'm just going to, sorry about that. It sounds like we have just a little bit of background noise. So if you're not muted, please go ahead and mute yourself. And sorry about that. So anyway, as we're here, we can use any of the queries in our query generator to create a KPI. So for instance, we have this query called shrinkage, which just tells us what's the difference between what was on our sales order and what we invoiced on the final invoice. So we can take that and, here, this is how short our invoice is. So maybe we want, our average shrinkage. So on average, this is telling us just from pulling in that query information, on average, our invoices are being invoiced about 6 items less than what's on our sales order. We can, create here our KPI name. So we'll call it shrinkage. And you can see as you're designing it, it updates in real time. And then, of course, down here, maybe we want our units to be each. So that is, each is the goods. And then let's say we really want to keep it to 5, about an average of 5 for shortage. So we can set that goal here. We want to say minus. So this is, we're viewing our shrinkage in a minus. And if our goal is 5, now we are kind of above our goal or higher than what we're hoping for. If our goal was 10, we can set that. And that should, let's see, oh, sorry, -10. So then we see, okay, we are less than our goal, if that was our goal there. And then all you have to do really here is just go ahead and save it, or I already have one in there, so shrinkage V2. And then we can go ahead and add those to our dashboard. You can see there's one here that I've created. So really easy, any of the queries that you have in your system, easy to just bring them in and create these KPIs. And then in the same way, just for lack of time, I won't jump into the dashboards too much, but in the same way as you create those KPIs, you can create little dashboards or little, charts like this. So then once we create those dashboards or those charts, let's say we'll go to a vendor. And now with HANA, we have this analytics on the sidebar. So we can see, for instance, this is a little KPI or dashboard that I've created that tells you what the average deliveries have been across the years. So for this vendor in particular, we've seen some delivery spikes. Seems like it's evening out now, but this is, a metric that's really important to us to kind of see the trends in delivery. We can have that available here on the sidebar. And then last but not least, I'm just going to quickly jump into what's called the Excel reports and interactive analysis. So it's here right on our menu, and we're going to look at the sales analysis, which, I think can be pretty valuable for any client, understanding what your sales are. So all we had to do there was just click that menu item, and now it's opened up into Excel. We can see, for instance, let's say we want to see our net sales amount, and we want to see that by business partner group, but maybe we really want to get a little bit more granular and see it by business partner as well. So just simply clicking those, now we have this graph that's populating, as well as our pivot table here. And we can do all kinds of things with this. It comes pre-built with document year, for instance. Maybe we want to see that data, but we want to see it per year. So we can add that information, and it's updated, and we have a real-time view of this data. So before I go ahead and move it on to Moti for the Analytics Cloud, are there any questions about this HANA functionality and these analytics? If you do have any, feel free to pop them in the chat. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Moti. We are really fortunate to have him coming from SAP to showcase the SAP Cloud or Analytics Cloud for us today. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and send it over to Moti to show you guys what that's all about.
Thank you very much, Beth. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
And can you also see my screen?
Yep, I think we'll have to switch that. There we go.
Let me swap that, and that's it. Okay. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to join to the session by Pioneer B1. Today's session, I'm going to give a brief overview of the SAP Analytics Cloud. I will, by the way, just a precaution, I tend to talk fast, so feel free to ask questions if I'm going too fast on some areas that you want me to elaborate a bit more. So I do want to start with maybe one step back before just showing you a demo of a product, to give you some insight about why SAP is going to this direction. And as Beth mentioned, there are some key things going on nowadays, and especially in today's economy, organizations need to adapt and go through transformation and become an intelligent enterprise. This is the messaging of SAP, of enabling customers to become intelligent enterprise. And as part of that is you have a need to actually be data driven and figure out ways to access data, and not only accessing the data, but also have actionable insight that will be able to do better decisions. This also is supported by easily measured, but you can measure it, and then together with tying it up with the operations, they can get even better insight, which is very powerful as well. And again, those are pretty easy to run, and you don't have to be a data scientist to actually utilize those machine learning based models. Now, one side is ability to create stories, but if you're in a silo, this is pretty limiting. And one of the strong aspects is also the ability to share stories across your organization, and send them the stories, and also collaborate, create the stories together, and utilize the internal calendar and tasks. So this way, it kind of becomes part of your day-to-day operations. You can also use SAP Analytics Cloud to prepare the data before you start analyzing it, because it allows you to pretty easily try to help you wrangle the data. So either modify it or change it. And not only that, also try to figure out if there are any outliers and issues with the data itself. So if you have a date stream that maybe is not properly structured, and you have some numbers that are not done correctly, it will tell you which are those, and then that you can go and fix them pretty quickly. And then you can also combine data, and this is even before you start analyzing the data itself. And now this takes us to the smart aspect. So as part of the SAP Analytics Cloud, you'll be able to utilize strong capabilities like search to insight, ability to utilizing a natural language processing to communicate with the system, and then also get automatically the insight that you're looking for, smart insight. So based on data that you have, the system will already tell you, which are the areas that you need to focus on based on machine learning models that are running on the data, and also additional smart features and smart discovery that will run and try to overall give insight on your data based on different parameters that you're going to specify. And this is, again, without being a data scientist. The system will do it for you. Now let's do a quick demonstration of some aspects. So as you can see in this case, this is the search to insight. So you can utilize the natural language processing to search for different type of data that you have. For example, in this case, I'm asking the system show me the gross margin, and you can specify maybe by specific user, maybe by manager in this case. And it's going to already suggest you also different data that you have in your system and dimensions, and this is the result. So already the results showing you this breakdown that you ask for it. You can analyze it already here. As you can see the difference, for example, and then this could be copied like regular copy and paste, and be able to use this visualization of the data that you're looking for in a story. And in this case, for example, we can create a story, and stories, those are the mechanism to create a visualization. And this could be based on template. You can create templates for your company with different backgrounds and look and feel. And you can right here, you can paste the data that you just copied, as you can see here, and you can modify the way, look, and feel of how the story looks like. Now, another aspect is the ability to run smart insight. So you have the smart insight capability here that allows you to add smart insight to any data that you are now using, and then it suggests you, for example, here the gross margin for Leah. She's the top contributor to the gross margin, for example, and the category of T-shirts for the gross margin was the most impact of the gross margin, the category of the T-shirts. And then you can drill down for that. And also you can see here, you can see some visualization about this specific area. And not only that, it's already going to suggest you some other areas that you can drill down that are related to what you are currently looking. And then you can insert this type of visualization and additional smart insight you got that the system suggests to you directly into your story. And then you can, of course, share that with the other users in your company. One more demo I want to show you is how to run, sorry, 1 second, let me just move to the next one here, is how to run Smart Discovery. And Smart Discovery is a powerful tool that allows you to do more advanced stuff. And in this case, what I'm doing is I'm dragging an Excel file. So I can drag an Excel file into the web browser here. It's going to analyze the data, and from that, it's going to take you to a window that will allow you to, first of all, try to see the data in different ways and see which part of the data are important, are relevant to you or not. In this case, you can already see the measures that's automatically identify the measures that you have in the data and the dimensions. In this case, you can specify which dimensions you want to add into your analysis here. So for example, let's select the department and the age, and then those will be added here, and you can see that whenever you select the dimensions, also the data will be shown. And then you can, one thing that you can do now is you can run actually Smart Discovery on the data also. Smart Discovery will allow you, by selecting a measure, in this case the annual salary, ask the system to give you back different views to your data and analyze using machine learning models what are areas that you need to focus on, and not only that, how we can run a simulator to try to predict some aspects of your data, so this way you have a better insight of what you need to do. And so the system now running different machine learning models to on your data, and the outcome will be 4 tabs that you will see in this story. And the four tabs will show you again the different aspects that the system can gain from the data, and based on the measure that you selected. In this case, it's annual salary, and you can see how the annual salary is being split into by office location, employment type, of course, if it's full-time or part-time. And not only that, you can go to the other tab that shows you key influencers to the measure. Of course, position is influencing the salary, department, and age, as you can see here, and also the position that you have, if it's a VP or others, and department, of course, as you can see here. So this kind of like already tells you what are the key influencers, for example, for salary, and this is just an example in this case. The next that we're going to see is unexpected value. So it's going to tell you if you have any outliers. So anyone that's getting salary based on the age, department, office, and you can see there is one that is identified, and you can immediately see and maybe act upon that, or maybe have understanding for the future. And this is as the simulation will actually allow you to try to predict, not predict, but at least simulate what should be the salary based on age, office location, department, and position, and other parameters that you have to actually decide, okay, what salary you need to pay. And you can see the distribution here of the salaries across the organization based on the different inputs that you have here. So this way you can make action or better, make a better action based on the data that you have and the simulation that you run. Now, one more thing that I want to highlight with the SAP Analytics Cloud is the ability to have access to content. In this case, you see you have access to content network that will be able to browse and either create your own content or see samples that are available from SAP, and also see samples that are available from other business content providers and third party as well, which is very powerful. So this way you can, if you need to, and you need some samples and templates, you can already try to use the ones that are provided either by Pioneer B1 or SAP or other providers as well. And this is just a slide that will take you to areas that you can drill down, but I'm sure that you can be able to reach out to Pioneer B1 and get more insight about this tool, SAP Analytics Cloud. So thank you very much, and now I would like to hand it over to Beth.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Moti, for all of those wonderful insights. If you do have any questions about that solution, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to get you more information. But I will go ahead and hand it over to Corey now for our presentation of New Intelligence offering. All right, Corey, I'm not sure you're, oh, there we go. Okay, all set. And you are muted if you're trying to talk.
Perfect. Can you see my screen now?
Yep, I can see it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks, everyone. So New Intelligence is a privately held company. We were founded in 2008. Our global headquarters are in Montreal with sales offices pretty much around North America. We are a IBM, SAP, and Microsoft partner with a special business partner relationship with Pioneer B1 with regards to our solution that you are going to see today. We have a team of certified professionals with over 500 successful installations, and the areas that we focus on are typically around reporting, dashboarding, planning, budgeting, and forecasting using IBM technology. Some of our key verticals are relying in different areas, from manufacturing to distribution to industrial and retail to pharmaceutical and hospitality entertainment, as well as a variety of others. So the key area that we're trying to address really is the lack of confidence in reports, dashboards, and stuff that's going on inside of the organization, to the point where people are going into meetings where they have what we like to refer to as multiple versions of the truth. And we're trying to really address that so that people are using the same information at the same time, so that the calculations and the information that's being presented, everyone's looking at the same numbers, and that the analysis can be done in a very simple fashion. So our solution really covers, first off, 6 main areas of what we call the order book, from quotations to invoices to orders, inventory, delivery, and purchasing, to additional other areas of CRM, available to sell, AR, AP, financial reporting, as well as the sales budgeting and forecasting area. Our solution, the value prop that we're about to show you, is something that's easy to implement. It's pretty simple to use from a business user perspective, and it's something that you can be up and running in 2 to 3 weeks. It's relatively inexpensive, and it's a short time to value. All right. So if we can, I think we got some little bit of background noise. Okay, so now we're going to go straight into the presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off in a, from here, what you can see is a dashboard, is just a blank dashboard. And what I want to really show you is the information that's here when you're going to be creating a dashboard, which is where we're going to be starting. And what we can typically see is we have all the information that's available to us in our fingertips. So everything is very organized in a very user-friendly fashion, to the point where I have my calendar information, and I can see my calendars. I can see all that information that is available to me, from my years to my quarters to my months. And whether or not I'm looking at things from a fiscal or calendar perspective, I have that ability to look at the information, to the point where I can look at other information, such as items. And everything is organized in a very user-friendly fashion. So we have folders that are available here. So you can see, if I open up the general folder, I'm going to see all the information that becomes available to me, including there. Now, the important thing to mention is that not only are we bringing in the information that's relevant from an SAP Business One perspective, but as well, we're also bringing in user-defined fields that might be customized by the customer to be able to leverage that from a reporting or dashboarding perspective. Continuing along, we've got our customer information as well, which is grouped into ship tos and bill tos. And if I open up the bill to information, I'm going to be able to see things organized again in terms of all of my customer information. And I can see the information, what's there. And it's easy for me to be able to just open up, for example, like a customer group, and I can see the information that's related, all the information that becomes available to me to work with. Now, moving along, I've also got, the suppliers and the quotations, but the other area that I want to focus on is really on the sales credit side. Now, you'll notice that I have sales and credits combined together, because as you know, inside of SAP Business One, sales is coming from one set of tables and credits is coming from another. What we've done is we've organized things in such a way so that we've consolidated sales and credits into one area. So this way you get one area that gives you the consolidated information. And if you wanted to differentiate between sales and credits, we have the ability to look at things from the perspective of a transaction type, which will allow you to see that information. Now, again, the important thing is we've included the information that we felt that was the most important to get started from an SAP Business One perspective. That doesn't mean that this is where things end. We can customize and include any other additional fields, whether it be other SAP related fields, or it can also be other user-defined fields. The information that we've got here, as well as we've got our line key figures, which these are all of our metrics. So again, this is just allowing us to be able to bring that information directly into the system. So again, it's a simple drag and drop if I want to be able to bring things. So again, it's just a matter of taking things of whatever I want. I can take something like net sales. And again, it's just a simple of dragging and dropping it over to the canvas. And once I just drag and drop it, you're going to see that that information is going to get populated with the information that I'm looking at. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to a dashboard that I've already started. And I'm just going to go into my starting dashboard. And you can see now inside the starting dashboard, I have some of that information that's coming across. Just going to make this screen a little bit bigger here. So now I've got my information that I'm looking at. And I can see that I've got $87.5 million of net sales with $50.3 million of gross profit. Now, what I can do in a very simple fashion, I can go ahead and filter on things in a very easy way. So for example, if I want to just look at LED drivers, I can just click on LED drivers and my information that I'm looking at on screen is going to change. Not only can I look at LED drivers, but I might want to look at LED floodlights. I can just control click and I can do the same thing for LED high bays. And you can see that information is actually going across in a very user-friendly fashion and very easy to work with, to the point where not only can I look at things from an item family perspective, or I can also look at things from a sales rep perspective and just click on one of the salesmen. So I can just click on that and the information is going to get filtered accordingly, as well as clicking on multiple sales reps. For example, I'll click on Jacques as well. And you can see now the information that we're looking at is a combination of LED drivers, LED floodlights, and LED high bays. And now we're only looking at information for AFS agency and Jacques D. Now, if I wanted to start taking off filters, all I've got to do is just control click. And again, that information is going to start getting removed. Or what I can do is in the top right-hand corner where I've got my filters, I can just click on artificial intelligence of what it feels is the best display in terms of the information that's going. Now I can go ahead and put my mouse over any one of these things, and I can see that contrast lighting is accounting for $12 million of the GP. Whereas if I put my mouse over this one, which is electricians, I can see that they're accounting for about $11 million. Now that's the display that's showing right now, but it doesn't mean that's the display you have to stick with. What I can do is I can change that display by just clicking on the display itself and going up over here where it says it's a column and change the visualization. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see that exact same information. This time I'm going to see the information in a different kind of display. So I'm going to pick a display that I like, which is a word cloud. So I'll click on the word cloud, and now that information is showing in a completely different fashion. And again, you can see the information that's going on where I have my contrast lighting, again, is showing up as the biggest font because it's accounting for the biggest amount. Whereas someone here like Paul Wolf is accounting for a smaller percentage, but it's again in a big font, but not as big as the other ones. So again, it's very, very visual, and it allows you to see things in a very user-friendly manner. Now, to bring things in from a time perspective, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start bringing in some additional information from a time perspective. So what I'll do this time is I'm going to go ahead and open up my calendars, but notice how I've got my calendars here. I can see all of my different things that I've got. So I can either pick one of those, or what I can do is I can actually bring that information right onto the screen. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my calendar year, that's here, and I'm going to take that in combination with the sales information that I'm looking at, which is information by net sales. So I'll just control click both of them. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of them at the same time, and they're going to go into the upper left-hand quadrant. And I can see that contrast lighting is accounting for $321,000 of that GP. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back, and this is from the dashboarding perspective. But what I want to do now is I'm going to switch things over into a report perspective. So I'm going to open up a pre-created report that is an actual prompted report. And as you can see, this prompted report that I'm looking at has a lot of information that's there. What it's actually showing me is it's showing me the prompts that I want to do. So I'm going to pick some categories in here like electrical devices, emergency, LED. And again, I can just scroll through the ones that I want and just pick and choose. And then what happens is I just click on OK. And this again is just a pre-run report. Now it's dynamic in nature with some hyperlinks in play. So what I would be able to do in this case, I can look at this information and I can see the breakdown by family, the status of the item with an on-hand quantity as well as an on-order quantity. I can actually go in now and I can look at this information and say, I've got discontinued at 36. I want to see a little bit more information. So I can click on that intersection right over here. And what it'll do is it'll start launching another report to show some additional information. That information that's going to show up is another report that again is passing information from a summary report over to a detailed report. And I can see now we're looking at LED drivers for discontinued, and this is the breakdown of the different items. So now what I can do is I can actually modify this report because there might be some additional fields that I want that may have not been included on the original report. So I'll click on this little edit button up here in the top left-hand corner. And then what I can do is I can just go in and pick and choose the items that I want. So I can see, for example, I want to include something like item code. So I can just go over here and take the item code and just drag and drop it onto the canvas. And again, it's going to show me that information. I might want some supply information like minimum order quantity. I can go ahead and take that and just drag and drop it wherever I want. And I've got that information available to me. Okay, so again, it's very, very simple to be able to use. You can really pick and choose. And then if you wanted, at any point in time, you could just run this and say, I want to see this in Excel. And then that information will be directly in Excel. Now, that's from a dashboarding, from a reporting perspective. What I want to do is I want to switch gears now so that we're going to be able to see one aspect as it relates to financial. So I'm going to go in to the financial side of things, and I'm going to get us to be started directly inside of the Excel spreadsheet. And right now I'm looking at the information specifically for GL, and I can see the information now with all my periods, and I've got them all here, and I can open up things up right down to the period. I've got my information with regards to my chart of accounts, so I can see my net income, I can see my profit, I can see my operating profit, I can see my gross profit. I've got all the information that's available to me right down to the GL account. If we're working with budgets and forecasts, I've got that information available that you can pull in to be able to. Continuing, you can also see all of your different measures that are available here, and I can see the measures that are showing up from this perspective as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating some stuff. So I've got stuff with regards to my income statement, and I'm going to go ahead and take the structure the way I like it, because this is what's coming directly from SAP, but I want to basically have the income statement a different way. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag and drop the income statement information right onto the canvas directly in Excel. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring it in for a specific period. So I'm going to bring that into my columns. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my balance amount, which is right over here, and I'm going to bring it right into my measures. So now I'm looking at the information from a P&L perspective. I've got exactly what I want to be able to see. However, now I want to be able to see a little bit more information. I want to have more than one period. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the periods. I'm going to click on Edit the Set at the top. And what I can do now is if I open up those GL periods, I can actually see all the different periods that are available. So I want period 2 and period 3. So I'm just going to add those to the area. And I'm going to take Q1 because I want that summary. And I'd love to be able to have 2018 period Q1 as well for comparative purposes. I click on OK. And now I can see that information is showing across for all 3 periods plus the 2 quarters for comparative purposes. Now what I'm able to do is not only that, but I can actually take in my actual and my budget, and I can go ahead and just bring it over here and just nest it. And now it's allowing me to see actual versus budget in a side-by-side comparison. Now that I've got this, I have the ability to go inside and say, for example, I've got my revenues. I can actually just double click on revenues here. And you can see now I'm starting to drill down to the lower levels of detail. Right down to the GL account. Again, the same thing that you can do inside of Excel, all those features and functions with regards to calculations get leveraged here as well. And it'll just maintain that connection, and this information gets refreshed automatically. So not only can you do this from a P&L perspective, but you also have the ability to do the same exact information from a balance sheet perspective, where you have that ability to just drill down onto the assets, right down to the current assets, and see that same information right down to the GL account. Now to circle back to finalize things, what we've got on the other side, if we go back to the reporting side, you can see that we've got a report that we have available. So if I go into one of my reports that's over here, for example, I've got an income statement versus actual. So again, I can see that information where I'm prompted. I can actually just pick a period that I want. In this case, I can pick 2019 period 1, or I can control click multiple periods, and I can just click on OK, and that information is going to show up from a P&L perspective. Now, if I go in and I want to get more detail, as an example, I can just take an income statement report that's pre-created here that's showing me my debits and my credits as well as my balances. But now I'm looking at marketing expenses, and I can see that I've got $45,000 of marketing expenses. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on marketing expenses, and I want to focus just on that. So I'm just going to include marketing expenses, and I've got that information. Now what I want to do is I want to get down to more levels of detail. So I can actually just edit this report like we did before. And what I'm going to do is from the GL perspective, I'm actually going to bring in some information from my chart of accounts. So I'd like to bring in my GL account code and my GL account description. I just go ahead and nest it. And now I've got it broken down by GL account. But now if I want to take things one step further, I can go into the journal entries. and say, well, I'd like to pull in a different information. I want the posting date. I want the reference 1, reference 2, the memo field, the cost center and the partner, as well as the transaction ID. And the order in which I'm selecting it, that's the order in which it's going to show up on the report. I can now just drag and drop it onto the canvas. I can see all of that information now right down to the journal entry. And if I want, I can filter just for American Express by just clicking on it and saying, let's filter just for American Express. And there's that information. And I can just go ahead and click on run. And this will actually now directly export it directly into Excel. And there's the Excel spreadsheet that's going to show up in the lower left-hand corner. Okay, so that's pretty much it from the perspective that I wanted to be able to show. I'm just going to close off on one last thing, from an information perspective. This is our contact information. If you'd like to learn more about the solution, you can visit runcognos.com. We have our information that's available here, or feel free to reach out to Pioneer B1 in regards to more information. I'll pass the floor back over. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for the presentation, Corey. It was really enlightening. And again, like you said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I know we just have a few minutes left. We're running a little bit late on time, but I am going to pass it over to Deb to bring us home with the Power BI demo. Beautiful. And Deb, you might be mute. I think you're muted. There we go.
Sorry about that, guys. The Power BI is from Microsoft, so everybody knows and loves or hates Microsoft, as we all know. They have different editions of the Power BI. They have the desktop, which is where you design and publish your desktops and your KPIs. For that, it gets published to a service that is up in the cloud, but for people that want to have that service on site, on premise, they can also do that with the report server. It can get consumed with multiple mobile applications. There's a REST API that you can use in order to publish those desktops into custom applications as well. And then there's also a gateway that allow you to do real-time synchronization of your desktops, of your designs here to the service. And so that everybody has the latest and greatest information. What you see on my screen is actually the designer part here. So I have been working with some SAP demo information, and I did, like Corey had said, you know, the invoices are in one table, the credit memos are in another table. I actually created a view in order to bring those two together to show, you know, what our true sales are here with this. So I have a couple of visuals here, and it's really pretty easy to pick what type of visualization you want, how to put it on the screen for this. You know, so in this pie chart, for example, this is the top 6 total sales by item, my top 6 items that are being sold across the years here. And then I also have one that says total sales by year. And if I click on any one of these, it actually will automatically change any of these other dashboards to show, hey, what makes up that $4 million here. As I was working on this, I daydreamed into what it would be like to retire. So I did a little bit of investigation and found, hey, there's a web page that ranks the city with the top 50 of places to retire in the United States. And they gave rankings on cost of living, if it's very low to very high and all of that. So if I want to go out here and say, I want to look at Milwaukee, for example, I can click on Milwaukee and see that they have a low cost of living. It's not very low, but it's low. And taxes are a little bit on the higher side. Again, I can go ahead, show me all the ones that have low cost of living, and then it also populates over here and show you by rank which ones have that as well. So all of this is really, really, you know, easy and fun to do and to take a look at this information. But I'm going to keep this quick and short. I'm going to go ahead and publish this out and show you one of the ways that this can be consumed by users. So Okay, publish. Let me go ahead. And then I have Teams over here, and I am actually going to go ahead and add that from the report server to my local Teams here. It's going to go out and take a look. I had saved it in my workspace, and I'm going to go ahead and click save. Now it's actually bringing up that dashboard in my Teams location, and it didn't bring back my last one because it didn't save, but I won't go into that right now. But you can actually see that, and then you can also come over here and take a look at my retirements. Again, you know, I click on Philadelphia and it's showing me, you know, cost of living and taxes. There's also some other criteria here, weather, healthcare, that sort of thing that I haven't had a chance to put on here yet. But again, this is pretty simple, using the tools that we already know and love with Microsoft. So here we can see items, we can see our total sales for that item group and how that relates to our total sales and gross profit by customer here. Again, you know, you would have to do, you know, there's some massaging and stuff you would have to do with the data, but we also have, there are some vendors out there that have already created dashboards for the SAP Business One, and you can actually see that here. This one's from SAP, and it's showing you all the AR analytics for SAP Business One. Again, if you want any more information or would like to know more, please reach out to us, and we'd be happy to discuss those options with you. Beth, I'm going to throw it back over to you so we're not too far behind.
Thank you so much, Deb. I know that was a little squeezed at the end, but I really am excited about that Teams functionality. So any of you guys that are using Microsoft or have that suite, you know, can have this kind of access within your Teams environment. So thank you so much for showing us that. And thank you so much to all of our presenters. I am just going to wrap it up really quickly. I appreciate that everyone has stayed after the hour. So I'm just going to do a quick wrap up here with a couple of additional BI tools. So we had gone over, you know, everything within this presentation, but there are a few other BI tools in the market that are worth looking into. It's Solver, Tableau, Click, Voidum Usability Package. I know a lot of our customers are already familiar with that, but they do have a dashboard functionality within that. And then Crystal Reports, which comes with everybody's SAP installation. We've had some customers actually build some really cool KPIs that they can click to from their dashboards using Crystal Reports. So lots of stuff that you can do there, but you know, feel free to check it out, ask us questions, challenge us, and we will find the right solution for you. And then beyond that, like I said, all of the documentation that for all of the solutions that we have covered today will be included in our blog post and included in this write-up as well. And, you know, again, I won't keep you, you know, we went over, but, you know, just as an overview, HANA, the BI Analytics Cloud, New Intelligence, and then our Power BI. So I know, like I said, we went a bit over today, so we probably don't have time for questions, but I have my email here, and, you know, we will share everybody's contact information as we put this together in a concise blog. So feel free, please reach out to us and, you know, get excited and start exploring BI for your company. And with that, thank you everybody for joining us today. And, you know, happy Friday. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. And we will be here next month with a webinar on warehouse management. So we'll be excited for you to join us then.
Thank you all. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Bye. Thank you.